Hello RPG folks, out there in computer watching land. Well, we were supposed to start with the Dark Heresy campaign on the 14th of August, but the majority of our members weren't available. Some unforeseen circumstances came up. Plus, the GM also had the flu, so we're hoping he's going to be alright. So what have we been up to? Well, you might recall in one of the previous videos, mention of some confusion at having enough of the resources printed out and in front of us. So we have at least gone this far and printed out something from the book. The Playing the Game page, 189 from the Dark Heresy main rulebook. This is mainly because of the combat actions chart, table 7-5, for all of you reference buffs out there. So this is the table I refer to. That's going to have the stuff on there that we took for granted back when we were playing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, or sorry, I can't say it without sounding like I'm trying to cough or clear my throat. Okay, that one was genuine, but... Sponsored by Asahi! Right, well, not really sponsored by Asahi, but inspired. Another thing we've done is we've managed to run a couple of prequel 1-to-1 solo games, which you can see me talk all about in this video somewhere over there. Bam. Yeah, that one. Check it out. We've run one for my assassin as well, Judicus Solanova. So I can tell you more about that one. I'll tell you a little bit about how that session went. So it's just myself with the assassin and the GM. So from a chat between the GM and I, we determined that the best course of action to be able to sort of test out the mechanics of this game, the intricacies of this game, and some of the combat and gun systems, was to try running a little VR test. Interactive dog. The mission was to exterminate the high priority target. So I went in there with my starting guns, that's my auto gun basically, and not a lot else. I had to try and work it out from there. Now the guy that I had to exterminate, he was right at the end of a camp. We did this with miniatures, so the enemies were just some Imperial Guard minis, and mine was of course the model that I've shown you before. You can see him again though in this video here. And he had a whole lot of guards around him, just against me, and they were all going to be quite well trained. There wasn't a great deal of cover there, so I snuck forward off of the high ground starting point, and crept forward and had a peep. And I watched them for a while to see what they were doing. I was getting ready to line up one good takedown headshot. I was going to go for an aimed shot head and try and finish it. When they were patrolling and there was like a gap in the patrol lines. It didn't work out that way because they all started heading towards me, and I was like, wait a minute, all of them are coming my way. That's not good, right? I asked the GM, I said, is there any sort of like going to ground ability here? And he thought about it, he said, no, not that I know of, and we had a look through the books, and no, not that we could see. And we kind of took this for granted because we've played Warhammer 40k tabletop before, and of course that's got going to ground in it. Now let me just explain quickly what going to ground is in the 40k tabletop. Your troop drops to the ground, okay, so you can either put a marker by it to denote that he has done that, or you can just lay the model down if you don't mind doing that with your mini. The whole unit does it, or the single model or whatever. It gives you a save, even if you wouldn't be able to have one, even if you were in open ground and couldn't get a cover save, you get it. So you get the 6+ basic cover save. We had to think about it. How would we be able to make going to ground work in Dark Heresy, we thought. When we realised that the basic cover save in that, because of the way the wounds distribute and that sort of thing, the basic cover save for that is 4, not the 6+ sort of thing. So it's basically 4 off of wounds, and it would do it that way. So that would be the weakest cover save you can possibly get. So we went on the basis of that, and we started thinking about what it would do. Well, it would leave you prone if you get assaulted. If someone charges you or melees you in combat, you'd be extremely prone. But we were trying to think of what other benefits that could give you. Can you aim better, and what ranges and this sort of thing. We weren't able to really come to a proper decision on that, but we just played around with it a bit. These chaps came at me, and I did line up a aimed headshot and I managed to stay out of sight, so they went right past me and started going the other way. And I realised I was going to lose my VIP. He was going to walk off the field if I wasn't careful. I also knew that if I was going to try and kill him, I had to do it fast, because if I open fire on him, the others are going to react. They're going to try and find me. If they find me, then they will all shoot at me, and I'll get overwhelmed and, well, probably die quite quickly. Or my virtual reality self would. I also knew that I wasn't going to be able to pick the troops off because I didn't have time. If they'd have stayed around walking about in their camp, then I could have snuck in and maybe snapped a neck and carried on in and took another one out and took a dagger to somebody and popped out the lights here and there and checked for defensive systems. And that wasn't going to happen because they were coming at me. And I managed to keep my head down very Metal Gear Solid wise. I didn't have a cardboard box on me, but it would still do. Now the reason I went for the head was because I asked the GM to describe to me what he was wearing, and it looked like it was going to be some sort of fairly heavy armoured stuff. So I didn't want to try having to have armour negate off of my wounds, and the head was the only thing that was unarmoured. I asked him, and he said there's nothing being worn on the head. It was a bit strange, hitting the head, but it's not a kill shot, so it's basically grazed it, and you try and role play that away. And a succession of different fire modes through the auto gun. That was curious, actually, finding out about that, because when you first read about the full auto on the auto gun, you think to yourself, "Whoa, full auto mode, that's crazy! 10 shots? Wow, 10 shots! Geez, and you get a +2 aim? That's really cool." However, what they don't tell you initially, when you look at that quickly, is that actually getting 10 shots out of it is incredibly unlikely. What you're really going to get out of that, in all likelihood, is maybe 2 to 4 shots, perhaps, maybe, and I'm just sort of saying that just from very minor experience, so I don't know. All the 10 means is the maximum amount of shots you could possibly get. Basically, for every degree of success over the shot, then you get an extra bullet goes in as well, you see, so it depends on the degrees of success you passed by. So, it's not really going to happen, is it, 10 shots? But, it's pretty cool. It's a spewed forth volume of bullets if you have the ammunition for it. I always say, screw the ammunition. Your life's more important. Just spend those bullets. I tried those things out, and I was a little bit shocked that the mechanics actually weren't quite as imba as I first thought them to be. But no matter, I can see it's quite balanced this way and why it's done this way instead. I managed to kill the target anyway, successfully complete my mission, exfiltrate from the area, which was good, and then that was us. So my first training mission is a success.